Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Orb on the Movement of the Earth episode 24, an episode that wasn't just about moving the plot forward. It was about questioning how knowledge spreads, whether progress is inevitable, and what it truly means to leave a legacy. This episode focuses on Alberto and Raphael, two characters who, despite sharing a passion for the stars, represent completely different perspectives on knowledge, safety, and purpose. But was Raphael's role in this story necessary? Was it pure coincidence that he became Alberto's tutor? Or was it something more, something that had to happen? Let's break it all down. Episode Summary: The Words That Shaped History. Episode 24 sets the stage for what looks like the final act. Alberto is on the verge of bringing the heliocentric theory into the public eye. But the journey to this point wasn't random. It started with one key encounter, his meeting with Raphael. One of the most powerful lines from this episode comes from Raphael as he looks up at the night sky and asks, "Do you think the stars exist just to decorate the night sky?" Alberto, ever the pragmatist, responds with hesitation. Does it matter? Knowing the truth doesn't change how we live. And that is the fundamental difference between these two characters. Raphael believes that discovering the truth is a purpose in itself, while Alberto sees knowledge as something optional, something that only matters if it affects daily life. But as the episode progresses, we see how Raphael's passion starts to influence Alberto, forcing him to confront a question he's never asked himself before. Does knowledge deserve to be shared, even if it comes at great personal risk? How Japanese fans reacted. A look at online comments. Before diving into the deeper themes of this episode, I took some time to check out how Japanese viewers reacted online. After going through forums, Twitter, and anime discussion threads, here are some of the most interesting takes I found. Raphael's presence in the story isn't just important, it's essential. Without him, would Alberto have ever cared enough to share what he knows? The idea that science will always find a way to spread, no matter what, is deeply moving. I love how this episode makes it clear that history isn't shaped by one person, but by many people working together, even if they don't realize it. Raphael and Alberto are like two sides of the same coin, one reckless, one cautious. Their dynamic is fascinating. This episode made me think about how knowledge is passed down. If no one shares what they've learned, progress dies. One of the strongest takeaways from these reactions is that viewers don't see Raphael's presence as random. They see it as something necessary. But why? Why this episode wasn't a coincidence, but an inevitability. As I watched this episode, I kept asking myself, was it really necessary for Raphael to be Alberto's tutor? Couldn't any other scientist have introduced him to the heliocentric theory? Theoretically, yes, the knowledge could have come from someone else. But that doesn't mean this meeting was random. I see three major reasons why this episode had to happen the way it did. Science was always going to find a way. Even if Raphael never existed, someone like him would have appeared eventually. History has shown that curiosity isn't something that belongs to one person. It's something that repeats across generations. This is why the show emphasizes the idea that knowledge is inevitable. One of the recurring phrases in Orb is, "You are not just a character in history." It means that history isn't shaped by one person alone. Yes, Raphael played a crucial role in Alberto's journey, but if it wasn't him, it would have been someone else. This idea reminds me of something from Dr. Stone, another anime currently airing this season. Senku once said, "Science will always remain." The same principle applies here. Just as science cannot be erased, truth cannot be suppressed forever. Knowledge as inheritance, the role of legacy. One of the most symbolic moments in this episode was Raphael teaching Alberto about the constellations. This wasn't just a scene about astronomy, it was a scene about passing knowledge from one generation to the next. Science and discovery don't exist in isolation. They survive because people choose to share what they've learned. Raphael wasn't just introducing Alberto to a new way of thinking. He was continuing a chain of knowledge that started long before him and would continue long after him. This makes me think about how history really works. If no one shares what they've learned, progress stops. But as long as there's even one person willing to pass it down, knowledge will never disappear. Raphael and Alberto. Two sides of the same coin. One of the most fascinating parts of this episode was the contrast between Raphael and Alberto. On the surface, they're similar. Both are deeply curious about the stars. Both understand the significance of the heliocentric model. Both have the intelligence to grasp its meaning. But their outlooks couldn't be more different. Raphael believes that truth is worth any sacrifice. Alberto believes that survival is more important than knowledge. This contrast is intentional. The show isn't just saying, only the brave matter. It's showing that progress happens through a balance of different perspectives. Not everyone has to be a martyr like Raphael. Not everyone has to risk everything for knowledge. Some, like Alberto, will choose to survive. But their contributions still matter. This is one of the biggest takeaways for me from this episode. Progress doesn't come from just one type of person. It comes from a combination of risk-takers and cautious thinkers, both playing their roles in shaping history. Final thoughts. A powerful episode that explores the nature of progress. Episode 24 was a perfect example of why Orb is such a compelling anime. It challenged the idea that history is shaped by a single person. It emphasized the importance of passing knowledge forward. It showed that there are multiple paths to progress, not just one. Was Raphael's role necessary? Maybe not. But was it inevitable? Absolutely. This episode left me thinking about how knowledge survives through generations, and how curiosity is a force that can never truly be stopped. The next episode is going to be huge. I can feel it. Comment discussion. Let's talk. What do you think? Was Raphael's role in the story necessary, or could history have unfolded without him? Do you agree that knowledge and truth always find a way to spread, no matter the era? Which character do you relate to more, Raphael, who risks everything for truth, or Alberto, who values safety over knowledge? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Outro. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe for more anime deep dives. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. See you in the next episode.